The fastest way to grow your business online is to understand paid advertising. If you can put $1 into an ad platform and profitably generate $2 or $3 back out, you're winning. You can scale your business to the moon. And it was a few years ago that I realized this, and I went on a mission. I spent $1,000 on 5 different ad platforms to see which one was the winner, which one was more profitable, and more importantly, which ones do not work flat out and you should avoid it at all costs. And my experiment was very interesting. Some of them worked, some of them didn't, and one of them I have scaled to the moon and built a multiple 7-figure company off the back of. So I want to share with you in this video what these 5 platforms are, share with you the pros and the cons, and the one that is the absolute winner that even to this day is the best chance that you've got at scaling your business. The first ad platform that I tried was actually Google advertising, and this came about because at the time I had just started to see some success with 2 things, and they were both free traffic strategies, not paid ads. And the first was I figured out YouTube marketing. I'd figured out a way to put a video together and get it positioned on the first page of the results for a certain key phrase. And I had started to learn the same thing with blogs and websites. You know, SEO was far easier a few years ago, and so you could just keyword optimize an article from top to bottom, and with a few backlinks, you'd have a good chance at ranking at the first page of Google for certain key phrases. And I did start to have some good success with that. It would take a lot of time, it would take some effort, but I would get pages and videos at the top of the search results, and my business would be making money. At the time, I was doing more affiliate marketing, and so I was recommending things in my articles, and I was picking up some commissions. So that's when I had the idea. I was like, well, I'm doing all of this work and effort to get something to the top of Google. What if I just paid Google to put me right at the very top? You know, I would save all that time, I'd spend a bit of money, but as long as I'm still profitable, then that just made sense to me. And so I did explore. In fact, I spent more than the $1,000. In fact, I spent multiple 4 figures trying to test that strategy out. And I tell you what I learned, and I learned it very quickly. The first thing is that Google advertising is actually quite expensive. You're not going to be getting cheap clicks. If you're trying to look online for traffic loopholes and ways to get the cheapest traffic, Google advertising is not the place for you. You are going to pay a premium for traffic on Google. So that's the first thing. And I struggled to make the numbers work, to make it profitable. The second thing is that you don't have the luxury of indoctrinating a visitor or an audience before they make the click, which is where you as an advertiser would pay. There are other advertising platforms that we'll talk about in just a moment where you do have the opportunity to filter through people before you even pay. And then you're only paying for people who click that are your ideal dream clients. And I'll share that with you in just a moment. But with Google, you don't have that luxury. You have a few lines of text, and that's all you have to really entice them to click or not. And then when they come to your website, whether they do anything on your website or not, you still paid for that traffic and you paid a premium. So some people can make Google advertising work, more power to you. I just found it quite expensive and it's not my preferred platform. The second platform, and some of you may laugh at this, there is a website called plentyoffish.com or POF.com. It's a dating site. And a number of years ago, when I was exploring these different ad platforms, I heard that Plenty of Fish had an ad platform. I purchased a PDF and a video course from some guru marketer telling me that Plenty of Fish is an untapped traffic source. And although it's a dating site, you can sell all kinds of stuff on that platform and the traffic's really cheap. So I did actually explore it and I spent some money and gosh, I gotta tell you, this was back when I'm still figuring out this marketing stuff, and I'd put together what's called a lead magnet, and I put a squeeze page together for it. That's the name we used to call it. You'd know it more as an opt-in page or a capture page nowadays. And I ran those ads on Plenty of Fish, and I must admit, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea how to create the ad image and what should I even type in the text. And you know, back then, the way the platform was laid out was very similar to Facebook. I don't know if you remember the Facebook advertising platform so many years ago used to be the news feed on one side and a very thin column on the other side, and that thin column would have the original Facebook ads. Plenty of Fish was just like that. You had a main area where you're scrolling through all the dating stuff and connecting with people and looking at people's profiles. And then on the right-hand side, a very thin column where the ads would be placed. And I remember spending money and seeing absolutely diddly squat for it. And at that point, I didn't even know how to read the numbers. I'm like seeing numbers coming in, I'm being told I'm getting clicks, but those clicks aren't turning into anything, and I'm not making any money, but I'm only seeing money going out, and so I canceled the whole thing. Now, there is an argument to say I didn't know what I was doing, I was trying my best, I was following some tutorials and giving it a go. Maybe that's why it didn't work for me. Again, strong argument for that. But what I felt like I learned is that actually when we're running paid advertisements, we do want to go to a platform where in the moment, they're interested in what it is that we have to offer. And with Plenty of Fish, although we could sell anything else, it's a dating site. People are going there to connect with other singles, to meet people, to message people, to flirt with people. They're not in that moment thinking about products and services that they need to buy. So it's a harder sell to get them off that platform. So again, these sites that pop up that are of a specific topic, we haven't seen great success with that for selling, businesses like mine. The third one is Facebook advertising. Now, here's where the story changes a little bit. I've actually seen great success with Facebook. When I first started, I spent that $1,000. It's a decent test budget, and we started to see some results. And I partnered up with a friend of mine called Jabril Agoro. I've known this guy for many, many years, become one of my closest friends. He was a groomsman at my wedding. And we were running these Facebook ads together, and we actually ended up scaling our business to over 1 million with these Facebook ads. So Facebook is actually a pretty good advertising platform. There is an issue, however, now, at the time of recording this in 2023, Facebook has become very crowded. It's become so crowded that the cost of advertising on Facebook has gone up because it's supply and demand, right? If they don't have any space left to advertise, then you need to outbid someone else who's already advertising. And so it's a race to the top. And so you're spending a lot of money to advertise on Facebook right now. And also Facebook, because they're full of advertisers, they don't really care about the small Joes like me and you. So they'll just kick us off the platform, no trouble. So people are finding they're getting ad accounts disabled, they're getting personal bans on the platform. At best, they're just getting ads disapproved and they can't get an ad to even run on the platform. So it's a love-hate relationship for me right now with Facebook. On the one hand, my initial tests worked great to where we scaled it to 1 million and it was absolutely fantastic, but I kind of hate it at the moment because it's a real pain in the butt. The fourth platform is actually the one that I tested alongside Facebook, and I actually had results with these two platforms side by side, and that second platform is YouTube. YouTube was my bread and butter. That was where I started. I mentioned that earlier on in this video. And so I decided to jump on the YouTube advertising platform, and it was an amazing, amazing decision. There was basically no competition. Everyone was on Facebook at the time. No one was dabbling with YouTube. And so I was absolutely cleaning up. And I learned while doing so that there are some really key benefits to advertising on YouTube that makes, I believe, it the most powerful advertising platform on the internet. Not only is it like Google, where you are targeting someone in the moment that they're searching for something or they're watching certain things. Think about that, right? When you go to YouTube, you're using it oftentimes as a search engine or to learn more about a certain topic. So you're typing in a key phrase and you're looking at the results, or you're clicking around on videos that are about something that you're learning. And then when an ad pops up that has targeted you correctly, then you are already in the frame of mind for wanting to learn about that thing. So then I can much easier bring you to my website to learn more about it in greater detail. And the second thing is there are ways for you to indoctrinate people with a YouTube ad and make sure that only the right people are clicking that you're paying for and the wrong people are leaving. You've got to get the video right, and I do have a resource for you that I think you'll really like. It's called the 60-second script. It's my free gift to you. There's a link in the description box or maybe on the screen right now. I basically walk you through what to say and do in just 60 seconds to attract the right people to your business on YouTube and repel the wrong people so you're only paying for the best traffic. That has been millions in the making, and I've fine-tuned that framework. You're gonna absolutely love it, so check out that free gift. YouTube has received the lion's share of our advertising budget over the past few years, and for good reason. It's absolutely amazing. And if you haven't been advertising on YouTube already, you haven't missed the boat, you're not too late. There's still a ton of opportunity on that platform. And the fifth platform that we tried, and we really gave this a really good go, is a platform called LinkedIn. And we hear this from our clients quite often, that LinkedIn is a different type of platform with a different caliber of person. We often think if we're trying to get in front of executives or consultants or people that just are playing at perhaps a slightly higher level in life, we seem to think that we can only get them on LinkedIn and not on these other platforms. And so my experience, and I did only spend the $1,000 on LinkedIn because I didn't want to spend any more than that based on the results that I saw, was that I didn't get very much for my $1,000. I ended up getting 10 leads, which was $100 a lead. Now compare that to YouTube, we're often seeing $4, $5, $6, $7 a lead, a really high quality targeted lead. Whereas on LinkedIn, we saw 100. I saw enough, I saw what I needed to see, that campaigns that were working on other platforms weren't working on LinkedIn, and the lead cost was so high, I couldn't even see a way to work that down. Now here's the interesting thing. If you fall into the camp of thinking that your audience is only on LinkedIn, you'd actually be wrong. LinkedIn have a few 100 million active users, whereas a platform like YouTube have over 2 billion active users. So these people that are on LinkedIn, guess what? At some point in time, they are on the YouTube platform. They make up some of that 2 billion on YouTube. So it's not like people on LinkedIn only ever log it into LinkedIn and then don't go on any other social platform, right? They go onto LinkedIn, but there are going to be moments where they go over to YouTube and they watch a video and they search for something. So we can still get the same people on LinkedIn over here on YouTube if you can get the targeting right, and if you can, of course, get the messaging right, which I'll teach you in this free blueprint that I've put together for you. Out of that list of 5 advertising platforms, YouTube wins it for me by a hard mile. It is absolutely amazing. And there's a video right here that will break down how you can run advertisements on YouTube for your business on a budget and put them together very, very simply. So check that out. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in a future video.